Hey friends, and welcome to the Paparazzi Stars podcast. Here we chat about all things paparazzi. Tips, tricks, suggestions, and weekly challenges, all to help you grow and explode your paparazzi accessories business to rockstar success. Hi, and welcome back to the Paparazzi Stars podcast. If you've listened before, you are in for a treat. If this is your first time, I just want to be the first one to tell you, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Anya Bohm, and I am your podcast host today. The topic of today's training is, have you had your Big Mac today? Now that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, and I'm not talking about McDonald's, but you're going to have to wait a minute to know more of what I'm talking about. I'll give you a little teaser though. So when you've held a party or an event, you've got some drawing slips, right? I hope that you're using drawing slips, but now you're probably thinking, well, now what am I supposed to do with them? That is where today's call will come in. Before we jump into that though, if you are busy driving or doing the dishes, chasing your kids around, hey, it is totally fine. I do the same thing when I'm listening to podcasts. Not a big deal. Good job, way to multitask. But you can get the show notes for today over at paparockstars.com/big-macs. That's MACS. So it has everything that we're talking about for today and the call image that I'll talk about in just one second, but I promise you're going to want to grab it. So again, that website, paparockstars.com/big-macs, MACS. Okay, so now that call image, it's a little bit of a stretch for what we're talking about today, but it is a super cute graphic. So what it is it's a baby crying, and then the words over the baby crying kind of say, missed the party? No need to cry. Order online anytime. And then it has the paparazzi logo on there. So super cute, a great thing to post in your Facebook parties, in your groups, even on your own timeline to let people know that, hey, they can order whenever they want to, wherever they want to, all online. So pretty awesome right there. Again, grab that image, paparockstars.com/big-macs. Okay, let's jump into the training. So a lot of times when you're at parties, they get a little bit crazy, right? People are shopping, they're asking questions and checking out. It's super awesome, but there isn't as much time as you need to talk to them. So this is where your drawing slips come in so handy. What I like to do is I give them a pen and a drawing slip when they're ready to check out, and I trade them for their shopping basket. And then I just say, hey, will you fill this out while I'm checking you out? So as I'm bagging up their order, I like to put the necklaces in little snack baggies so that they don't tangle. So I'll put the necklaces in there and I'll count it and put it into their bag. And then, some people fill out invoices. I like to do tallies to know how many adult items that I sold. So while I'm doing this, they're filling out the drawing slip. We can kind of be chatting a little bit, but you never have as much time as you want, right? Well, bam, now you have their information. So this is where people kind of get stuck a little bit. They're like, what am I supposed to do with these drawing slips now? Well, this is where it's time for some Big Macs. No, I'm not talking about those golden arches. Big Mac stands for Big Morning After Calls. Let me say that again. Big Morning After Calls. These calls are the key to creating more of a connection with your customers and the guests that you've met at like events and expos. So now you're probably wondering, how do I do those Big Mac calls? Well, don't overthink it. Call and thank the guest for visiting your booth or for attending your party. That little thank you goes a long way and is great to build connections and offer that great customer service that we're trying so hard to get. So try saying something like, hi, Julie, this is Anya with Paparazzi from Sammy's party last night, or from the Women's Expo event. Did I catch you at a bad time? You always want to say that just because it's kind of common courtesy. You never know. Their kid might be in the tub, or dinner might be burning. So if you say that, then they'll usually be like, no, we're good. And then you say, I really enjoyed meeting you at the party last night or at the event, and I just wanted to say thanks for stopping by. It can really be like as simple as that. Let the conversation progress naturally from there. Sometimes they're just like, oh, okay, thanks. If they say that, that's cool too. You can end the phone call if they're being less than responsive. Or here's a couple more things that you can talk about if you're feeling a little stuck. One thing you can say, can you tell me what your favorite part of the party or the event was? That'll give you some really great feedback. The second one. You seem to really love all the jewelry I had there last night. And one of the ways I love to spoil my party hostesses is by getting them as many free pieces of jewelry as possible. Would you want to host your own girls' night out party and get some of these pieces that you didn't get last night? Another one. With all the fun we had last night, I felt like you may have had some questions I didn't get a chance to answer. Was there anything about hosting a party or being a consultant that you wanted to ask me? So just a couple things right there to get the conversation started. When you call the day after a party or an event, everyone is going to most likely still remember you. I mean, it was just like 12 hours ago. Remembering you, they're going to have that a little bit more of connection with you, and they're going to be excited to hear from you, especially if you started out by saying thank you for coming last night instead of asking them for something. And they're always happy to give you feedback if you ask. Now, you're probably wondering how much time these calls are going to take you. Usually, they only take a minute or two. It's true, it doesn't take very long at all, but they're going to remember the effort that you made. And if you get another hostess or a team member out of those calls, don't you think it's totally worth your time? I think it is. I first found Paparazzi like a year before I actually started. One of my friends, she was having a home party at her house, and I went to support her. I was the last one there, and they started to actually pack up as I was shopping. I really, truly fell in love with Paparazzi that day, and even asked the consultant like a lot of questions about her business and about Paparazzi. I was curious. She never followed up with me. I never got a phone call, not even a card in the mail. Never heard from her again. About a year later, another one of my friends, same neighborhood, was having a party, and I knew two things. One, I knew I had to get there early if I wanted the best selection. Two, I loved the products. The necklaces that I'd bought at the previous party, they were still going strong, and they were cute. So I wanted me some more $5 jewelry. So I went there early, and the consultant was still setting up. It was kind of a dark time in my life, so I wanted to get there before anybody else came. I didn't want the people in my neighborhood seeing me. So I shopped quick, and I left before the rest of the guests arrived. I chatted with that consultant too about hosting a party, and I told her I would really love to host one for her. My husband was out of work, and so I really couldn't afford a lot of jewelry, but I knew I would be able to get some free by hosting a party. She told me she would call, and then she didn't call me. Never heard back from her again. The second consultant, though, she got lucky, because when I decided to join Paparazzi, I happened to have her card with me still, and that is why I ended up on her team. Imagine when I joined, though, if I would have joined under somebody totally different. Then we all could have been at convention and run into each other. How awkward would that have been for those other consultants? Like, seriously, how would it make you feel if you had a customer sign up under a different consultant and you ran into them at convention, or you saw them a couple months later and they were like, hey, you remember that Paparazzi thing? I'm selling it now too. And you're like, wait, but I still sell Paparazzi. Calling your customers and keeping those lines of communication open, they're going to help make sure that if they do want to host a party or join Paparazzi, that they're going to think of you and they're going to join under you instead of going looking for somebody else. So this secret sauce, in air quotes, might be a little different than the kind you get on a hamburger, but this secret sauce is what's going to help you set your business apart from the other people in your area, and it's going to help your team explode. So that brings us to the call challenge of the week. This week, I want you to call 3 people that you have met at a party or an event. That's it. Just 3, not even a full hand. Thank them for their business. That's all it has to be. You could use one of the ideas above if you want to get a little bit of feedback, but if it's been a little while, they might not remember what their favorite part of a party was. So that one might be a little bit awkward, but just get used to calling people. Just get that foot in the door. Thank them for their business. That's all it has to be. You never know. Maybe they've been thinking about hosting a party or even making some extra money. So those 3 calls might be life-changing for your business. Business-changing, if you will. So thank you again so much for joining on the call today. Hey, if you like listening to these calls, would you just head over to iTunes real quick and leave us a quick rating or review? You can also do it in Stitcher, but that's what's going to help more people find the program and help iTunes show it to more people as well. Have a fantabulous week. We will hear from you again next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.